Hey there friends, welcome back to another Dinkum video. This time we're going to do something a little different. Don't mind the fireworks in the background. I was playing around with the time of day and goofed, and now they don't go away, which is fine. We can have fireworks all day long, right? I wanted to show off a very small build that could be absolutely fantastic for a transitional area on your island. I put this particular walking trail, which is what we're going to be looking at today, between my house and Erwin's barn area. I thought, I don't want the barn and animal enclosure to butt up exactly where my house is. I want there to be a little bit of a buffer. What can I do to make that happen? So let's do a walking trail, right? It doesn't line up with the end of the street. For some people that might drive them absolutely crazy. It doesn't line up with this bridge. I didn't realize that until after I'd kind of finished, and I was like, oh man. And you know me, queen of symmetricality, sometimes that can be a problem. Anyway, I decided to make a little nature walking trail that was very overgrown and very lush with the natural, all the natural foliage in the game. And of course, walking trail. We could name it something fancy. I think if you make one on your island, you should definitely name it something fancy, but I like to name things what they are. Not creative. I'm creative in the building, not the naming. Okay, guys? What I did here was, the very first thing I did was, I took some pathing that I wanted to use, and I decided to go with a natural pathing, and I just laid it out in a trail all the way to the river / ocean area. And then I used ramps and corners. I did not do any terraforming. I definitely left all the natural, what was naturally here. I didn't bought dirt print additionally. I got to thinking maybe I should make it higher or taller in some places, but I thought, no, we're going with the natural landscape. This is what it looks like. And so I placed down a lot of foliage and trees and plants, and it's definitely very, very wooded. It's the kind of giving the feel that I was hoping for, thankfully. I did stick in some random items like the bird bath or the bench. And we've got some Maggie and cockatoo plushes kind of hidden throughout to kind of, hey, look, there's birds and stuff that live in here. I've got some planters with the foliage in them. And then, of course, if you're in peaceful mode, the crocos will just come right on up. But they're friendly. No biting on these guys. And then I've got this little lily pad sort of mock bridge to a rowboat if you wanted to go out and explore the expanse of the waterway here. But I thought it was a nice area to stick between my house area and Erwin's area and not have those two things butt up against each other. And it's a small enough space that it was not really going to be useful for much of anything else. And I thought, I don't really do the natural thing on any island. Maybe I should stick a nice little park / walking area. We've got something like this very similar in my own town. And the neighboring town over also has what's called the Azalea Trail, and it's very similar to this. Very, very overgrown and lush, has lots of bushes and plants, and during certain times of the year is just very, very in bloom and very beautiful. I definitely want to take a look and show you this at night, so give me just a second. Of course, now the fireworks make sense. It's Catalina Day on my island, and of course you have the celebration of the fireworks at the end of the day, which I love. They look so good in the game. But yeah, so I sprinkled some glow buttons throughout so that way the area would be illuminated without actual lighting. I felt like I could put, I did put some lampposts here and there, and it just made it too bright. And I was like, we're going for more of a natural feel and a natural look. Oh, look. Fireworks. Woohoo! When you're going for a more natural look, I don't know. None of the lamps that I used really gave the vibe I was going for. So I thought, you know what? We'll break out the old glow buttons, the old reliable. They used to be our favorite flower until we got floor lights. They were used for all kinds of lighting purposes. Now, you might have some issues like this where you have this inverted corner area. I laid down the path, and then when I went to do this, I was like, well, I'm going to leave it. I wanted there to be, it looked more like natural sloping hills. And if you leave it just, completely, without using the ramps and you leave that squared off edge, it doesn't give the same sloping feel. So this is my take on a little nature walking trail / park area that all the NPCs can come hang out and enjoy. They probably won't. But maybe the neighborhood folks will. But yeah, this is something you could definitely do in your area. A nice transitional area for sure. It just requires a lot of seeds and a lot of trees and grass and plants. If you're playing in vanilla mode, definitely will take a little bit of time to accumulate all the things you need to make this happen. I created this using my creative mode island. So, we could party with our Croco tonight. It looks like he's dancing. Take a look at that. Let's just take a look at the view. Let's admire. Well, I can't quite get the right camera angle to get the fireworks. There we go. So pretty. I wish we could have fireworks every night in Dinkum. Wouldn't that be absolutely wonderful? So yeah, very simple. Not really takes a whole lot of brain power or creativity to really make this happen. I think the best tip I can give you here is to just lay down your pathing, get a bit of a line going. Here, I'll show you my map. It creates this sort of little bit of a winding trail, if that's helpful to anybody. Yeah, not everything has to be a building. Not everything has to be, very structured and planned out. Sometimes you can let nature do its thing, and sometimes that's for the best. I think it fits in really well with this area over here. You've got all of this nature, plants, water, and then you've got my house, and then you've got Irwin's on the other side. And I just it's a great little piece to sandwich in between areas like that, or take you from one space to the next if you so chose. So yeah, I hope this idea inspires you to create something more natural, especially if you're playing in vanilla. I feel like, if you accumulate enough seeds, collect enough things, you can definitely make this happen, no problem. You don't have to have the ramps or the corners to do it. I just chose to make it look more like a hill than the blocky style that Dinkum definitely offers. Yeah, I'm curious to see if you guys do anything like this on your islands. Are you more of a natural person when it comes to decorating, or do you like a city build? I definitely do city builds a little bit better, I feel like. But every now and then, I can make a natural build look okay. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming along on this short and sweet little inspirational video. I hope you enjoyed it. And, I always appreciate you guys hanging out with me and watching the videos. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to have you here. All right, guys. Thanks again. And be kind to yourselves. Be kind to others. I'll see y'all in the next one.